Hey, self-development class, this is Miss Cipher. I'm always trying to fix my glasses because I can tell that they're crooked on here. I'm sorry for kind of the cheesy video. I tried to set up my iMac to videotape me, but I don't know how. So if you know how and you could message me on self-development class, that would be awesome. I just made a 2-minute video for all of Virtual Academy, and I wanted to make a videotape for you all that goes explains the idea a little bit more of what I'm talking about in the other video, but I won't go on too long so I can keep your attention. So the idea of my lesson is that inside us lives creativity, inspiration, and possibility. And I think we all have accessed this before, where it's probably when we're doing something that we're very passionate about. Like maybe it's playing with animals, singing, creating, some kind of art. Art is basically expression, so anything that has to do with art can bring us into this place of passion, really, right? Passion is when we feel like time doesn't exist and we feel full of possibility, creativity, and inspiration. So, and just notice that it looks like a peace bubble. And also notice that that's in the core of your body. So when you're practicing deep breathing and you're breathing in through your nose and you're noticing that breath as it fills your chest, see if you can push it down to the deepest corners, lowest, deepest corners of your lungs. And it's going to push on that diaphragm to make your belly expand. When we breathe into this deep place, that's where I say, our peace is. And that's where possibility, creativity, inspiration live. However, we all are familiar with reacting to our environment with things that trigger us, right? And in that last video on the brain, we talked about that reactive part of our brain, and I point to the back of my head, but I think it's like kind of above your brainstem. And then there's also this place right behind your ear. It's on both sides, your limbic system. And if you start to pay attention to animals around you, this reaction to our environment, as far as whether we see it as dangerous or not, we have a lot of that in common with reptiles. So energy and information that gets stuck in our brainstem is energy and information that we react to. We either fight, flight, freeze, or collapse, just like animals do, reptiles. And then that energy and information, we try to make sense of it in our limbic system, where it can just become this bundle of emotion. And we just then remember the things that make us emotional, and mostly it's things that we think are going to hurt us because we think we have to pay attention to those things to stay safe. So if we can learn to navigate how we interpret energy and information, if we can learn to recognize when we're reacting, we can learn to let energy and information integrate itself into our whole brain, in particular this prefrontal cortex, which allows us to reflect on experience and make better decisions and practice getting more of what we want out of life, rather than just reacting to everything around us. So there's this check-in. And so that I am, that idea that we're enough as we are because we have breath, because we have life, we are enough. I am. And it's in that I am place in the middle where that creativity, possibility, and inspiration lives. So we're going to work on learning to check in slowly to kind of gradually get to that place. So there's these 7 areas of check-in. And the one we're going to focus on first is checking in with our physical environment. And we can do that by paying attention to our physical environment. And we can do that through our senses. So if you go for a walk or just wherever you're sitting or laying in bed, you can practice just noticing your physical environment. You're not judging it, you're not comparing it, you're not ridiculing what's going on. You're just simply noticing and checking in with your physical environment, trying to create a sense of safety to soothe that reactive part of your brain that wants to protect you, so that energy and information can flow to this other part of your brain that's developed later, evolved later, right? So it's not quite as evolved as this other limbic part of your brain. Energy and information to soothe and integrate into the use of our whole brain, particularly the prefrontal cortex, so that we can make the decisions that get us more of what we want in life. And whenever I'm discussing more of what we want, I'm always making an assumption that it's based on what's safe to you, what's safe to others, and what contributes to the greater good of all living things. So that's the bigger lesson today. And we're going to work through this. So next week it's going to be tapping into our social environment. And I continue to look forward to meet with you. I think I've connected with a lot of you. Feel free to message me. And these are just skills that we can practice to help us live the life that we were meant to live and the life that we want to live. So stay in touch, and I'll talk to you again soon.